aspects, right? But I'm curious about P-Town because there you have a chance to play for younger crowds who probably don't have the same expectation that they might have, though.
If they go to their local, I've forgiven a lot of things because I'm in a tourist bar.
You're forgiven a lot of things.
Yes.
You can get away with a lot
Yes.
more in some respects because
Yes.
you're in a tourist destination. So they're there no matter what.
Right, they're there, and so they're locked in. And that's really where I made my niche, is that I was good at playing to tourists.
Right.
But in that way that they would come, and so they come basically for a week. And what I was able to do was you'd start them at one point. You try to figure out what was common ground amongst everyone, not everyone, but
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
And then I would move them through during the week so that they would end up in an entirely different place than where they started.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday again, we'd start the process over again. So I was able to introduce a lot of music without them knowing that they were getting music introduced to them, because it was spoon-fed, and it was spoon-fed over a week, and not too much all at once, so that there was songs that they knew, songs that they, but then I could slip in those songs that they didn't. I mean, I broke a lot of music there, and not so much now.
Well, because clubs don't break music anymore, right?
And because my clientele got old.
Yeah.
Because Provincetown's gotten old, so my clientele's me.
Yeah.
And I don't go out. I'm sad to say I really don't go out anymore. So
Yeah.
they absolutely, and it's my job, but they absolutely don't go out. So they tend to be a little bit less. They want a sound. They want it to feel like it always felt.
Right.
So they do want new music, but they also want a certain kind of energy. They want to have what we always refer to as the Boatslip experience, where they're jumping up and down for the last hour.
Right.
And that's getting harder and harder to do, because I just don't find that the music
Right.
takes me there. And not only that, they don't know it. So even if it could, I can't get them there because they don't know it.
Right.
So
because they're not hearing it anywhere.
No, because they don't go out. So before, it was easy to ramp them up and take them up. I find it really hard now because they don't know the music. And I mean, it's not that there's any lack of songs that could make a build with. They just don't know them. So you have to play with the music. Like I have to throw in that old one that used to make them jump up and down, and then I can throw in that next one, and then kind of tease them up there. But it's not the same. It's not in that same way.
See,
And then it was '94 that I started at the Boatslip. Okay. But in between there, I worked at Love Shack, which I found was one of my favorite jobs I ever had in Provincetown. Michael Tobin had died.
Oh, Michael, yeah.
And they asked me if I would come and work there. Now, the guys that ran Love Shack, they were the original owners of Man Ray, Bruce and Francis. Bruce Jope and Francis Toohey. And that was that was in the height of ecstasy. It was they had sex shows, we had live sex shows, and I would go and pick out the porn. They'd be like, okay, the theme tonight, Maryalice, is servicemen. Will you go to the store and pick out the porn for the night?
So they had you pick out the porn.
I was going to pick out the porn for the night, and then it was crazy. I mean, like totally over the top. They had a back room that had people having sex in.
Right.
It was the most decadent that I had ever. I was happy to have been a part of it because I was the only girl there.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember hearing about the Love Shack, never went down there. There was a whole period where I didn't go out to places that I should have. Yeah. I was at the right age to go and enjoy it, and I didn't do it. But Love Shack was one I used to hear about. Didn't know much about the what was actually happening there like that. But also, when you think this is also like a decade after AIDS, right? And a lot of this is still happening.
It's crazy.
Is kind of a little crazy. I mean, although you assume that there was a certain amount of safer sex happening anyway.
I doubt
but maybe not, right?
I don't think there was.
So that's interesting. So you were the only woman there, really, and you were.
I was the only woman in the room.
And you were picking the porn for various.
And they would have, and like I don't know. One night was chocolate. So one guy was, they would pour Hershey syrup on a beer bottle and fuck each other on stage with it, and like it was crazy.
Well, and you were just playing. What kind of music were you playing? I mean, did you find that there was a difference in what you wanted to play for that crowd?
No, I was playing what I played. I was never very versatile.